Hey there, champs. It seems that the whole boxing world is talking about the statements that Andre Ward stated about Canelo Alvarez. He said Canelo's resume is not as good as it seems, and he is ducking David Benavidez. And we will also talk about Terence Crawford moving up 2 weight classes to fight Chris Eubank Jr. And these are the 2 topics that we will be talking about today. But before we get into that, if you guys are not subscribed, please punch and knock out that subscription button. That way you'll never see it again. And ding the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my new boxing videos. Alright guys, let's get to the round. Ding, ding. Okay champs, let's get started. Andre SOG Ward stated that Canelo Alvarez does not fight fighters in their prime. But I beg to differ. Canelo Alvarez has one of the best resume, if not the best resume of any active boxer today. He fought Cotto, Triple G, Plant, Sugar Shane Mosley, Mayweather. He also went up to 175 to fight Dimitri Bivol, and Dimitri Bivol was the champion. And I never knew avoiding one fighter to go fight Dimitri Bivol will be called a duck. And how are you gonna avoid one dangerous fighter to fight another dangerous fighter? And he is fighting Jaime Munguia next, and Jaime Munguia is definitely on his prime. Now the only connection between Andre Ward and Canelo Alvarez, they fought one of the same guys, and that is the Crusher Kovalev. Andre Ward actually fought him twice, and Canelo only fought him once. They both definitely stopped Kovalev, and when Canelo fought him, he was still a champion. But Andre Ward stated that he was cooked and he wasn't the same fighter anymore. But if he sucked now and he was just a shell of himself, how come he was still the champion? On their second fight, Andre Ward stopped Kovalev with a body shot, and Canelo Alvarez actually knocked out Kovalev. But let's talk about Kovalev versus Andre Ward's first fight. I remember that fight pretty well, and I believe Kovalev beat Andre Ward on their first fight. I personally believe Kovalev was robbed not by Andre Ward, by the judges. And if I do recall, Andre Ward did not want to give the Crusher a rematch. And actually, Andre Ward was talking about retiring after that fight. So to me, you are not undefeated, and you should have had 1 loss in your record by losing to Kovalev on your guys' first fight. But in the end, you did not retire, and you gave Kovalev a rematch. And you clearly and obviously won the second round. You stopped him. And this time, you had a good game plan. It was totally different from the first fight. You did not fight the same way as the first fight. But you definitely should have lost the first fight. So Kovalev did get robbed. And this is a clear example on why boxing is a theater of the unknown. When you are at the highest level and you fight the best at their best, you never know who is going to win. And even in the rematch, because both fighters will obviously come in with a new game plan. Even the winner will come in with a totally new game plan, because he already stepped in with that specific opponent. And he will adapt his game plan according to how he performed and his opponent performed. He will know what to look for and what to leave in and out from the first fight. And also, we have to be consistent here, and Andre Ward stated that Canelo did not have any issues from fighting Charlo and him moving up from 154 to 168. And Amir Khan also moving from 147 to 160 to challenge Canelo. But that is only 2 weight classes, and you know how those fights went. Imagine Terence Crawford moving up 3 weight classes from 147 to 168. Do you guys really think Terence Crawford reflexes, speed, power, stamina, and chin will move up to 168? Or do you guys really think Terence Crawford will move faster and have faster reflexes and more power at 168? Since his body is going to have to move with 21 more pounds on that small frame. I think the people are picturing a very skilled Terence Crawford at 147 to look the same skilled at 168. I don't care who you are, you cannot break the laws of thermodynamics. And if you know anything about fitness, or better yet, if you're fit yourself, you know exactly that this is impossible. If you are not fit yourself, you will not know or have a clue of what that feels like. But nothing is impossible. If this fight ever happens, expect Terence Crawford to look like a fat bodybuilder. But there are weight classes for a reason. And yes, Terence Crawford is a very skilled fighter, but I don't believe he's on a Mayweather level. I personally don't believe Terence Crawford can beat Miguel Cotto or Manny Pacquiao when they were in their prime. And Andre Ward stated that Canelo is ducking Terence Crawford. I don't think so, and Canelo stated that he will not get any credit for Terence Crawford. If they fight and he wins, they'll say Terence Crawford was too small. And Canelo has a lot to lose if Terence Crawford wins and nothing to gain. But I really doubt Crawford can beat Canelo with that much weight difference. I know Crawford is a very skilled fighter, but he is bypassing Charlo at 154. If he fights Charlo at 154 and beats him up just like Canelo did, he can say I beat the same fighter and let's fight. But why is he trying to fight Chris Eubank Jr. at 160 and bypassing the Charlo brothers? If he fights the bigger Charlo brother, he does not have to fight the small one. That will be going backwards. Then he can have something to say to Canelo. He can actually tell Canelo to stop ducking. But now you will have to wait for the winner of Canelo versus Munguia. But what if Munguia wins the fight? You just never know. This is boxing. But for the sake of the argument, let's just say Canelo beats Munguia. Well, Crawford can then challenge Munguia and beat him in a similar way that Canelo did. And at that point, if that does happen, Munguia would have already challenged Canelo at 168, making him a 168 fighter. Then Crawford can challenge Munguia at 168, making Crawford a 168-pound fighter. And if Crawford beats Munguia in a similar fashion as Canelo Alvarez, or not just that, just if he beats him, he can actually challenge Canelo Alvarez at 168 and Canelo will have to accept. But it's not even a guarantee that Crawford gets past of any of the Charlo brothers, as I seen Terence Crawford in trouble with lesser opponents like Mean Machine. And I believe Terence Crawford versus 100% Big Charlo will be a 50-50 fight. But Terence Crawford fighting Chris Eubank Jr. does not do anything for him trying to get the Canelo fight. Plus, Chris Eubank Jr. has been a pro for 15 years and he's never become a champion. And not just that, Bomac is a trainer of Terence Crawford and Chris Eubank Jr. And I'm sure Bomac knows Chris Eubank Jr.'s strengths and weaknesses, and he already told Crawford about them. And I'm sure Bomac will train Terence Crawford over Eubank Jr. So I believe Terence Crawford should just fight Big Charlo, but that's even if Big Charlo can make 160, as he could not make 160 last time when he fought Jose Benavidez in a catchweight of 163. And he could not even make that weight either. He came in at 165, and not just that, when he reweighed himself, he came in at 167. Terence Crawford and Charlo have one common opponent, which they both beat in Jose Benavidez. But Terence Crawford actually stopped Jose Benavidez and Charlo couldn't, but Charlo was not at 100%. So I believe Terence Crawford versus Charlo will be a big money fight, and it will get him one step closer to that Canelo fight that he wants so he can finally retire. What do you guys think about Andre Ward's comments about Canelo? Are they true? Is Canelo a duck or he's the real deal? And what do you guys think about Terence Crawford bypassing the Charlo brothers and go to 160 to fight Chris Eubank Jr., a fight that nobody asked for? Comment below and I'll write to everyone back. If you guys like the show, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and that's it for me, champs. I gotta roll.